Because if you want to see a dolphin in captivity, your only choice is now on the Gold Coast. The New South Wales government passed legislation last week banning dolphin shows, plus breeding and importing of the mammals. Currently, there are only 3 dolphins in captivity in the state. They were born at the park in Coffs Harbour and will be cared for until they pass away. Look, we all believe in looking after animals, but what do you think, Robbo? I mean, I look at what SeaWorld does, and they look like they really care for the animals up here on the Gold Coast. And as a spectator, it's always fascinating to go and see the dolphins doing their thing. They have breeding programs. Do we want to take away all dolphins in captivity, or is that the way forward, or is it something we should continue to do?
I think I've always been of the belief that as long as the animals are taken care of, and as you said, animal husbandry in the world has grown so much and, is under such a microscope by both, industry groups and government as well are also very big on checking that the animals that are in care are looked after. I worry humans are a fickle beast. I think that if the idea that you can't see animals like this up close who need our help in the wild, then that might cause a bit of a drop-off in that support. That's what Absolutely. I worry about. I think, as you said, SeaWorld especially has SeaWorld Rescue. They have massive breeding programs. I worked for a TV show that was based there for a long time. They're very serious about the way they care for them, and it's important, and it's all about education. So imagine in 10 years when there's no aquariums, for example, and then you take your 5-year-old daughter, son, niece, nephew, whatever, and you're trying to explain to them what a dolphin is. Well, you can see it in a picture, you can see it in a video, but you'd never have that wondrous moment when you see an animal like that in the flesh, where you see it moving around, the same as a shark, a stingray, a turtle. These are really important, poignant moments, I think, in life that also help to cement the love of those animals. If we lose that, then I think that's really bad. Of course, we should shut down backyard operations and, shitty places that don't care for it. But I think as a whole, I don't think this is great for where we all want to be.
Yeah. And look, Ange, the thing about dolphins is they taste great. They taste like tuna. I've got to be honest. Dylan, I think it was Dylan just said that on the feedback, and I stole the line. I just thought it was too good to wait until we got to the feedback, so I stole it. I do, but yeah, it was Dylan? I'll find it and I'll credit the right person, but I thought it was very funny.
Hilarious.
What's your take on this, Ange?
Look, I'm absolutely thrilled that, dolphin shows have been banned, and I hope that they will be across the world one of these days. That's just the right thing to do.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. You only have to watch. I don't know whether either of you have seen any of those incredible documentaries like The Cove or Blackfish.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. All you need to do is watch The Cove and Blackfish to know how deeply, deeply wrong it is to do what humans have done to these animals over so many years. I agree it is important to fund conservation and rescue initiatives, but captive breeding, which is, what we're talking about here, has been proven to be bad for dolphins and whales for a long time now. They frequently die much earlier than their relatives in the wild, and, they're there to breed, and then most of them never breed because of the trauma that's caused to them in those environments. And, it's a lot to do with, they've got, obviously, as we know, very complex personalities and their normal social structures that they'd have in their natural environment, which means that the whole point of keeping them in that captivity is utterly moot. The thing that I'm just not really sure of, I understand that, science and research plays into it, but what more do we need to know that we don't already from, the enormous amount of research that we've done into these animals and, kept them, so no matter how free that, how much freedom that we think that we're giving them, it causes them huge trauma, huge distress. And I just don't want to have any part of that. If it means that, my kid can't go and see a dolphin in captivity anymore, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I kind of want to revise my position, and you've kind of turned me a little bit on that. Look, I agree. I don't think dolphin shows are the answer, and I should have mentioned that before. So, yes, I know that you're also mentioning dolphins in captivity, and I totally respect your position on that. I also welcome the idea of no longer having shows with dolphins or orcas, doing tricks and seals with the balls on their nose. I absolutely don't think that's got really any value. So I just wanted to, agree with you on that. I think that was a great point.
But hang on, isn't the value that people go to places like SeaWorld and they watch a dolphin show, and I'm going to have to take you at face value on the psychological impact. I don't know that, but Andrew, I trust you. But the idea that people go to places like SeaWorld and pay their money is funneled back into conservation and programs for these sea creatures. If you take the shows away, will as many people go to places like SeaWorld, and will the funding of these much-needed funds, these funds to conserve the dolphin population and other sea creatures, will that be lost?
I think it's definitely worth the risk. It really is. It's like, we've had these animals in captivity for so long now, and there's so much evidence about what that does to them. I couldn't have it on my conscience going anywhere that had, sort of any program like that. Even if it does, prop up the finances for the rest of the institute, just couldn't do it. I think I just know too much about the distress that it causes these creatures, and I won't be part of that. And if anything, I'd much rather get my kid scuba diving and seeing these animals in the wild, in their natural habitat, not in a prison of humans making.